Welcome to You Betcha, Minnesota, the land of resilient retailers, presented by Sezzle. My name is Sarah Edwards, and today I will be your virtual event host. Today we are interviewing some of the most resilient retailers in Minnesota, and they're going to be sharing such great insight for all of you. Also, please stay tuned the whole time because every 15 minutes we're going to be giving away some really cool prizes, including a pacifier onesie, a sweatshirt from Soda Clothing, amazing earrings from Larissa Loden, and an insane pair of boots from Red Wing Shoes. Let's kick things off with our first interviewee, Megan Lee Phillips of October Kissed. Hey Megan Lee, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to learn about October Kissed.
So I originally was doing a fashion magazine, and as I had a family and life got a little busy, I realized like running a fashion magazine is just not in the cards for me right now. So I decided to shut it all down, but I still had a huge heart for fashion. Obviously, that's been my life forever. Literally in high school, instead of bringing my books to school, I would bring magazines. And then my teachers would be like, well, that's not the math book. And I'd be like, well, I don't need math when I'm in fashion. And so I wouldn't do any of the work, which was fine. I mean, don't ask my teachers. It wasn't that fine. But so I've always been very passionate about plus size fashion. And although I was never, and still not, in the plus size range, I used to be a 000, and then after I had my kid, I expanded to a size 8 to 10, so none of my clothes fit me anymore, and it was honestly traumatizing because I had such an attachment to all my clothes. So I ended up having to get rid of all my clothes and start fresh. And shopping was just really frustrating because one, I didn't like how I looked in anything, and two, I felt like all the cute stuff was in size 000 and there was nothing in my size. Yeah. And then I started thinking, well, if there's nothing in my size, what about people even bigger than me? There's right. Nothing in their size. So that's why October Kiss kind of came about, to provide clothing from sizes small to 3XL. But cute clothing, yes. Not just basic grandma so clothes.
Cute, obviously.
Thank you. But yeah, so that's how October Kiss came to be about. We're not even a year old, so wow. Still very fresh and a baby.
What do you think the priorities are going to be of yours for like the next few months? Have they shifted, do you think?
I think like starting this brand, I really wanted to make it about women. Obviously, like, anyone can wear the clothes. I don't care. Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, like, my main focus is women, and I guess even more specifically, like, moms, because it's so hard as moms to find confidence in anything. Like, after I had my kid, it was really hard to, like, feel beautiful afterwards, and just because, not that you're not beautiful, but, yeah. You know, your significant other thinks you're beautiful, but you kind of want that validation from other people as well, because he's stuck with me. He has to tell me I'm pretty, whether he wants to or not. So, like, I want to hear it from other people, yeah. And I want to feel it by myself. Like, there were so many, I think for, like, 2 years, he was like, no, you're beautiful, but I didn't feel beautiful, yeah. So it wasn't really, like, that chemistry wasn't happening. But finding clothes that actually make me feel beautiful and feel like I'm awesome is what I'm hoping to do for other women as well. The other thing is age is just a number when it comes to fashion.
Yes.
Make that very clear.
I'm very,
when it comes to fashion.
Very passionate about that.
Because my mom, who's in her 70s, wears a lot of the things that
she does?
Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
That's what I want. I want it to be able to be to the 16 teeny bopper hip kids, while also like 70, 80-year-olds can throw on a sparkly jacket and feel just as cool.
Totally.
You know?
Well, here's a question. What advice would you give to maybe someone starting out their own business in retail or online retail, or a younger entrepreneur? Like, what do you wish someone would have told you?
I guess this is something I'm still working on. Yeah. And it's not to set your expectations low, but set realistic expectations.
Yes.
And don't worry about other people. That's a huge thing of mine, because I like to go look at, even if it's not even relative to the same industry, we're not even selling the same products, I'll go over there and be like, wow, they're so much more successful than I am.
Sure.
Which I have no idea. I don't get their sales
right.
numbers. It's just based off social media.
Right.
But I feel like that's so bad. Like, you just gotta just focus on what you're doing, do what you love, and the minute you don't love doing it, stop doing it. And I think I learned that from my previous business, was I kept doing it even if I wasn't,
Yeah.
even if I wasn't in love with it. I just kept doing it because I felt like I was obligated to do
Right.
it. But no, I can't be doing that. It was really unhealthy for my marriage. It was really unhealthy for my kid. It was really unhealthy for my relationship with my parents and my friends.
Yeah.
So I was like, no, I'm done. Like, I don't love it anymore. And that's something that my creative director, she told me, she said, the minute you don't want to do this, like the minute you stop loving it, don't do it anymore. And
advice.
so I was like, well, this is the moment.
Yep. And I feel like the pandemic has honestly taught a lot of us that, because I feel like, you know, even though it's been incredibly challenging and stressful, we kind of realize what's important at the end of the day, like our health and our family, the people close to us, and like we also figure out what we really need to survive. We have some people watching. Besides obviously going online and shopping with October Kiss, what are other ways that people can support your business?
Obviously Instagram, that's where we're probably the most active. It's just at October Kissed, October with a K. And then, I guess Instagram is like the most active place for us, just being interactive via
sharing.
We always have, I like to be very interactive on my stories. So we always have like little polls or conversations and stuff like that. And on Thursdays, I've been starting to post like Thursday Thoughts, where I really am encouraging our followers to just like deep dive into their brain and figure out what their goals are and what they really want to be doing with their lives. So just getting interactive there is the best way.
What's your website?
Octoberkiss.com.
Easy enough.
October with a K.
It's giveaway time, and our first giveaway is this sweatshirt from Soda Clothing. This sweatshirt. All you have to do is guess which bag the Soda Clothing sweatshirt is in. Pink, blue, pink, blue. Type your guess in the comment section below. We'll be picking a winner after our next interview. Up next, we're going to hear from Anna Meyer of Sezzle. Anna is an incredible thought leader, and I've learned so much about the future of retail and e-commerce from her, and I'm so excited to share some of the insight with all of you.
Yeah, Sezzle is a purpose-driven financing tool that allows consumers to break down purchase prices into 4 equal installments, always interest-free. And what this brings a retailer or a merchant is on average a 20% increase in average order value, a 10% increase in purchase frequency, a 50% reduction in returns, and on average a 12% increase in incremental sales. We have got over, I want to say over 12,000 merchants right now using Sezzle. And with these merchants, I can see both non-Sezzle checkouts and Sezzle checkouts. So I can see the full spectrum of it. And e-commerce has definitely increased, of course, as brick and mortar has closed, but it's really category dependent. Necessities are going through the roof. Things like apparel and luxury items maybe aren't doing quite as well. From a Sezzle standpoint, we've had Black Friday-like checkout days all the time because there are so many shoppers right now that really need a way to budget and are strapped for cash. So from our perspective, volumes have been really good and increasing consistently. And then I actually looked at Minnesota specific data too, since I wanted to share with the Minnesota retailers. We've got 3 million or so subscribers across the US and Canada. And pre-COVID versus post-COVID, we're finding that average order values are about the same, but purchase frequency is going up across the board. Probably because people are home and bored and shopping online a lot, I think is probably a big piece of it. But specifically in Minnesota shoppers are spending 15% more than the national average through Sezzle. So I think that just kind of shows that Minnesota shoppers have really adopted these installment solutions and are loving them and using them frequently. Consumer focus is always a priority for Sezzle and for any retailer out there, but now more than ever, a negative review travels a long way, as does a positive one. And so ensuring that you have the best consumer experience and options for your consumers is really important. But the other thing that I'm seeing a lot of successful retailers do that I really love is being purpose-driven and getting their shoppers involved in their mission. I would say the first thing is, to elaborate more on the purpose-driven angle, doing something that gives back to the community is really important. And if you look at like Bombas, who gives a pair of socks to the homeless for every sock purchased, there are other merchants that plant a tree for every purchase. doing things like that really can increase your loyalty with your consumers. You're doing good for the world and you're increasing your sales and profitability. So it's just a win-win across the board. So I think that that's really important. The second thing, there are so many technologies out there that can help retailers online that enable you to automate cart abandonment emails or allow you to reduce friction at checkout with one-click checkout. And embracing these technologies and exploring them to really help differentiate yourself is important. And then lastly, I would say buy now, pay later is huge. We recently did an independent study with the Center for Generational Kinetics, CGK, and they surveyed all sorts of different people out there across various generations to get their payment preferences. And at the end of this study, CGK estimated that by 2022, 95% of merchants would have buy now, pay later on their websites because of consumer demand. It's that strong. So I think looking into how buy now, pay later can help your business is really important. I previously gave the averages across the board. We're seeing 20% average order value increases. We're seeing 50% reduction in returns. We're seeing increases in purchase frequency. But there's one retailer specifically who signed up with Sezzle because they wanted to increase conversions and all the normal reasons you might choose a buy now, pay later. And on the side, they were struggling with returns. They're an apparel merchant. People were buying 10 to 15 items of clothing and keeping one or two, and the returns were costing them a ton of money. When they signed up with Sezzle, Sezzle shoppers had a reduction in returns by 90%. Insane, 90%. And we've thought a lot about that, and I've talked to this merchant about it, and we don't totally know why it is, but we think it's probably because most consumers return products within the first week or two of making a purchase. At that point with Sezzle, they've only paid 25% of the total purchase price, so it's possible the reward of returning just isn't that great, and then they maybe wear the item and decide they like it and decide not to return it by the time all of their installments are due. It's a really competitive space right now in buy now, pay later, and we actually have some great competitors out there, and they offer amazing services. Sezzle differentiates ourselves by, first off, being purpose-driven and wanting to make the world a better place through payments. That's our part in it. We recently became a public benefits corporation, which means that our board voted that they would like to focus not only on shareholder value, but on the greater good, on making the community a better place, on making the environment a better place. And so I'm really excited to be a part of a company that cares about the greater good and not just shareholder value. The second thing is our approval rates. Because Sezzle is headquartered in the United States, actually we're just down the road in North Loop, Minneapolis, we have a different understanding of how to determine creditworthiness than some of our competitors that are based in Europe or Australia. The FICO system is what most companies use to determine creditworthiness. And unfortunately, young people, immigrants, or people that have maybe made a mistake have low FICO scores, or some of them have no FICO score at all. These are people that are left behind by a lot of the buy now, pay laters out there. Sezzle, because we understand this and because we understand the alternative data sources available to us outside of FICO, we can approve these shoppers and we can give them the credit that we feel they deserve. And so by doing so, our approval rates are almost 90% for most shoppers, and the 10% that we're not approving, it's often because it's a fraudulent purchase or something like that. What that means to a retailer is, one, they make more money, right, because they get the sale, but the second thing is the consumer has a good experience. If you reject a shopper, they're gonna associate that back to your brand, and they might never shop there again. So I think approving as many shoppers that deserve to be approved is really important and ultimately what we're all about. And then I would say the third differentiator is our customer service is second to none. If you check out our Trustpilot reviews and read what shoppers say about us, they absolutely love our service, and we are obsessed with customer service. We have got a Slack channel that posts every review that comes in to the entire company, and if there is a negative review, not only do the co-founders jump on it, but everybody in the company is jumping right on top of it to make sure that we make it right and that our shoppers have the best experience possible.
That's amazing. Wow.
I would say embrace technology. Right now in e-commerce, there are so many solutions out there that can help you grow your business, that can increase conversions, that can decrease cart abandonment. And Sezzle is just one of those solutions. So look into all of these other options that are out there and available to you. And secondly, I would recommend that everybody check out the research study that we did with the Center for Generational Kinetics. They're a nationally renowned organization that is focused on the differences between generations. They did an independent study with Sezzle to determine payment preferences amongst different generations, and the results were staggering on what payment preferences people have. And I think that watching it is just really eye-opening on how the younger generations are viewing credit, how they're viewing payments, and how they want to pay. Well, we're here in the webinar right now, so we'll provide our contact information. I also have somebody on my team, Lauren Anderson, on the line, and she's specifically focused on our local market and working with Minnesota merchants. So give us a call, shoot us an email, reach out however you want. We'd love to hear from you.
And we're back. Which bag was the sweatshirt in? It was in the blue bag. We'll message the winner. So excited to introduce our next guest, Michelle Henry of Face Foundry. Michelle is such an incredible entrepreneur with years of experience, and she's so brilliant, and I'm so excited for everyone to learn from her.
Yeah, so we are an efficient and effective facial bar. Our facials last 20 minutes for minis and 40 minutes for our focused facials. We have lash extensions, we have waxing, and we have our own line of skincare products. So we designed it for walk-in services. Truly, it's curated for anyone and everyone. We can customize to any skincare needs, and it's very, very customer focused. Yeah, and that was something that was really important to me, is having those extended hours. You know, we open at 8 a.m., we're open until 9 p.m. Like, make it easy for people to get in. We are 95% service. So basically, everything stopped. Services stopped, and truly, we're all about the customer experience. And that was really difficult to figure out how to navigate. We completely shut down, actually before it was mandated, about 5 days before the government had said, you know what, let's close everything up. We thought it was probably the most social, responsible decision. And we came together as a team and we said, how are we going to do this? How are we going to still engage with customers and really provide them with the best experience possible and improve their skin from afar? And so much of our experience at Face Foundry is physical touch. And really helping them with a routine that is super specific to, you know, individual needs. So we revamped our website. We created an online skin quiz. So every customer can go on, fill out their lifestyle habits, you know, what their concerns are, and environment, everything like that. And it produces very, very specific products that we recommend for each person. And so that was something we did right away. We revamped our online store, made sure that every product that was in the store that we use in services was available. We introduced home devices, which was something that we had never done before, but things that you could do at home that would really help keep up with your skincare routine, because we were not sure how long this pandemic was going to last. And then lastly, we did the Glow to Go facials. And these were very similar to what we use in all of our facials here at the Face Foundry. We broke it down by step and explained to our customers exactly how they could get the same benefits at home with our products. And so that was something that we really had to get innovative, because we wanted to make sure that it's a long time to go without a facial, and especially if you get into that routine. And so we wanted to make sure we had those exact products available for people. Yeah, actually we had a client suggest it, and we were like, that's that's a great idea. I think it's really important as a small business. Your clients truly will give you the most honest and best feedback and suggestions. And so after we got that email, we're like, wait a minute, this would be something we could execute. Let's put our minds together. Let's figure out how we can present it in a very Face Foundry way, and really try to service our clients from afar. So that was not on us. That was on our clients. Yeah, absolutely. So again, like I had said, we're 95% service. So truly flipping to online and seeing our customers really support us through online sales and purchasing products and devices. I mean, that kept us going. And it really proved to us that like our customers are the most loyal humans, and we are so fortunate for that. But truly, they kept us going. We did curbside pickup, and they were so excited. And we had tons of packages that we were, doling out curbside. It was really exciting to see people supporting small business during such a trying time and an unknown time. So online sales were crucial in keeping us going. I think for us, there was never any wavering or any doubt. It was just how do we really push through, because this is really tough, but like we'll get through and we'll be better because of it. And I think as business owners, we weren't alone. We knew that this is uncharted territory for everyone. I actually grew up working construction, building in-ground pools for my dad and his business. So I grew up in a family business, worked for him since I was 13, worked for him all through college. And so I was on the construction site, had a wheelbarrow and a shovel and I had work boots, and it was awesome. And I learned so much about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. I then went to school at St. Thomas and St. Kate's. I got a degree in apparel design, merchandising, business, and art. So tried to really figure out how I could utilize some of those, and ended up taking that design degree, that apparel design degree, starting my own clothing company. We went down to Vegas. We showed there. We started really selling to a lot of different stores across the U.S. And that was in 2007. And of course, 2008 and then 2009, we had, a giant recession. So that I shut that down. I ended up meeting my business partner for Primp, and we started an apparel company, women's apparel, called Primp. Prior to that, I actually forgot to mention I had a stint and I owned a screen printing business, and we were printing for all of the U of M sororities, fraternities, and any sort of U of M kind of club, thing like that. So that was one thing that I did prior to then starting Primp. And then sold Primp in 2018. I'll never forget. I sold it. I signed the purchase agreement. And 5 minutes later, I signed the lease for the Galleria for Face Foundry. So it was like, I think I have just a mini break there. So that was kind of my background in a nutshell. I've done a lot of random things, but it's funny because they have all led me to where I am now, and kind of my love for customer service is a big one that I think has translated through all of my jobs, and really just figuring out how to continue to problem solve as a business owner, and figuring out how to problem solve, from a consumer standpoint. Limit the amount of advice you get, because I think as a new entrepreneur, we're so passionate, we're so excited, and you just want to share your idea with the world, right? And I'm totally guilty of it, where I'm like, I have an idea, I've got to tell you. And it's like, be very cautious, because I think younger me, I would do that all the time, and I would kind of just throw it out there, and I would be really open to receiving feedback. And there were people I will never forget. One specific person said, do not open a retail store in 2010. You are the biggest idiot. And I'll never forget that, because had I listened to it, I would not be sitting here today. I think that's where you have to be really cautious on receiving advice, because if you feel it in your heart and your gut, like you have to listen to that. And I'm such a big believer in like, if you feel like that's your destiny and you can manifest that, that's everything. I think our emphasis on safety, I mean, obviously it's always been there. We have to follow really stringent state regulations per the cosmetology board, but really continuing to make sure that clients and staff feel safe, because during this unknown time, I mean, the best thing you can do is just make sure people feel comfortable. And so there are several safety protocols. We've actually gone above and beyond what, the state mandates. And that's something that's really important to us, is figuring out a way to make sure people feel comfortable. And I think that is something that we've always stuck with, but it's continuing to kind of morph some of the ideas and procedures that we've had in the past and really amplify them. Currently, we have a location in the Galleria in Edina. That was our flagship location, our first one. Nolo, right next to Crispin Green in the North Loop, and Maple Grove, coming fall.
All right, next up, the giveaway is this cute, adorable onesie from Pacifier. How cute is this? I wonder if this will fit my dog. Okay, so to enter to get this giveaway, you have to name all 5 of the Minnesota iconic landmarks. So type your answers below. When we get back from the next interview, we will share the answers with you and pick a winner. Up next is Spencer from Soda Clothing, who I happen to have known for a long time, years and years. And I have to tell everyone watching that Spencer is one of the most genuine, kind humans that I've ever met.
My name is Spencer Johnson. I'm the owner and founder of Soda Clothing. Before Soda, I worked as a photographer, either freelance and also as a real estate photographer. I went to school in Duluth for graphic design. And that's actually where Soda Clothing came from. It was part of a branding project that I worked on and then continued it after college. So I started Soda Clothing 11 years ago in the University of Minnesota Duluth. So we had to do a branding project and I branded Soda. And the reason why I came up with it is I felt like there wasn't any good shirts or t-shirts that I felt like reflected Minnesota and the design that I liked. So I kind of came up with this clean, timeless designs that kind of reflect Minnesota through clothing and other such items. So that was 11 years ago, and then kind of kept it going. And the last 4 or 5 years is really when we started growing. We've kind of moved offices every year for the last 4 years, and now we're in our new retail spot. So this is our first retail store, but we also sell wholesale to about 70 stores within Minnesota. Yeah, so the pandemic has affected us in many different ways. At first, just changing up how we work, having us be working in a creative area inside our office, and now everyone working remote. We had to close our store, so our store was closed for about 2 months. And then also our wholesale business really dropped a ton because clearly a lot of other stores were closed. And then luckily for us, our online business really kind of picked up the slack. We were missing out from our store sales and our wholesale sales. So no one was dressing up to go to work now since they're all working from home. So people needed comfy sweatshirts, comfy sweatpants, hats, t-shirts. So it was a mix between it all. What was funny this year is we launched 3 or 4 different pink items, and our pink items ended up being our best sellers the last 2 months, which I never thought pink was so hot. So yeah. We went with Sezzle mainly because they were local. It was great that we were able to talk with their reps and learn more about their platform. It's completely new to us. Actually, I've never heard of that kind of buy now, pay later kind of feature. So it was great that we were able to learn from them, and their product was just really easy to use too. Working with Sezzle has been, it's been easy. They sent out the links about how to install the platform on so we use Shopify, and they were able to link that up very easily. And then we kind of just went back and forth with their people to make sure it was up and running correctly, linked up to our bank account correctly. And and it's also nice logging into their platform, and that's super easy to be able to see how much money is going in, how to transfer money into your account. So, I mean, the overall has been a great experience. So I think the big thing for Sezzle is, I mean, they explained it really well to me that as younger people are not really getting more into credit cards, so this is a good option for not having a credit card, buying now and paying later, and then making the payments throughout. And at first I was like, I didn't know that people were actually doing that. So when we got it up and running, I was shocked how many orders were coming in and how many people were opting for Sezzle as a payment option. So with Sezzle, when your money gets deposited into their account, they offer a really high interest rate if you keep your money in that account, and that's also that's huge for a business, having that interest rate build up over time. So it's nice that they kind of have thought through all these other options for business owners as well. Over the next 2 months for us, we've learned a lot from this whole pandemic and everything that's going on. I think we've learned that we also can kind of be more relaxed in our business, as far as we felt like we always had to be in the office every day, to get stuff done. And we always felt like we had to work these 8-hour work days, to accomplish everything. And I think we're kind of learning that as a team, we're a smaller team than we were even a year ago. We can kind of handle more at a more relaxed rate. So I think we're trying to find our balance, with everything that's going on. And also with a retail store, the balance of how to handle it during this time and how to make people feel comfortable coming into a retail store. And also we're trying to be more community-based too. I mean, we've always done community-based stuff, but we're trying to show that more through the digital world and kind of show other brands and other things that are going on throughout Minnesota versus just our clothing. I think if I had to give any advice right now for starting up a clothing company like what we're doing right now, start small. I think that's what we learned the most from this is less is almost more, because especially you don't know what's around the corner. Like we had the state fair, and the state fair is a huge part of our income, and now we lost that for the year. So if we were planning on having that money, which we were for the fair, to help cover some of our expenses, we would be in a little bit more of a tougher spot. So I think, if you're starting, start small, let it be a slow growth. And that's what we kind of did at Soda too, is we let it grow slowly. We never took money from investors or anything like that. We always reinvested our money back into the business. So we didn't have all this debt or anything hanging over our head. So I always recommend just starting small and working your way up. And you also learn a lot when you start small too, because you realize what you need to do. At first, no one knows what you need to do. Even right now, we're still learning what we need to do during times like this. So, I always highly recommend starting small and slowly growing your business. I think the other big thing that I've learned during this pandemic is running a business is being creative and also kind of letting yourself get shot down for a little bit, then hop right back up and keep going. Because the big thing is just how tired as a business owner, like your mind is always going and going and going. And so really, I kind of let myself kind of, be down for a little bit. But I was like, all right, we got to keep going. We got to keep moving forward. What you can expect next from Soda is, we're going to continue with the clean, modern looking designs. We'll try to keep pushing out more original stuff, either from a digital outlet or through our retail store. We're also working on trying to have that more diverse selection throughout our retail store as well for wholesale products that we'll be buying. Hopefully we'll be able to find more of a selection to kind of offer all different kind of product. If you want to support Soda Clothing, you either can go to our website, sodaclothing.com, or you can come to our retail store. We require you to wear a mask. We're located in St. Louis Park, and we're open Wednesday through Sunday. If you want to follow us as well, you can follow us on all of our social media platforms. The biggest is Instagram is what we push most, and the handle is just soda_clothing.
And the answers are... Our next giveaway are these beautiful earrings from Larissa Loden. I love these. The giveaway is pretty easy. All you have to do is name one of your favorite Minnesota businesses in the comments below. It could be, a few of mine would be Ramadan Designs, Blue Dot, Minnie and Paul, Lucy & Co. There's so many amazing businesses in Minnesota. Comment below and we will pick a winner at random. And you get these. Next, I'm sitting down with Ashley Jensen of Gilded Roots. Ashley is unique because she is actually a fashion designer and owner of the brand, so we're gonna get a unique perspective on the world of retail from Ashley. Hi Ashley, thanks for being here today. I'd love to learn a little more about your brand, Gilded Roots.
Yeah, so it is, Gilded Roots is a men's clothing brand designed with black men in mind. So I really consider black men when I'm choosing like colors and fit and style preferences. And then it's also a collection of like wardrobe staples that are, I like to call it clean cut streetwear.
Cool.
So it's kind of got that casual, cool vibe of streetwear, but I think you can kind of dress it up a little bit for the office or for an event because it does have a little bit more of a tailored fit.
Definitely.
Yeah, so the name Gilded Roots came from kind of an exploration of my roots and just kind of celebrating culture and the connection to my African roots, I guess.
And you studied at the U of M, right?
Yep, yeah, I have an apparel design degree from the U.
Wow. Can you talk a little bit about what it's like studying? Like I love fashion from like a artistic creative, but can you talk a little bit about like what you learned from like technical stuff or what that program is like? I'm just curious.
Yeah, so it is a very technical program, and I would consider myself to be an artist, but I also am like a little bit more like strategic and technical as well. So it kind of was a good balance for me. We definitely learned like more of the production side of things there, and that was kind of the main focus, was being able to like produce the clothing rather than the more artistic side of things.
Who is your customer? Like describe who is like the perfect customer for your brand.
Yeah, so my brand was built with black men in mind. So I guess my main target market would be black men aged maybe 25 to 35, a little interested in fashion, likes to kind of play around with style a little bit, and yeah.
And why'd you design for men specifically?
So somewhere along the way in college, I fell in love with like the classic, like clean detail that menswear has. And so I just really liked recreating that. And so it just fit best in menswear.
I love it. So talk a little bit about the pandemic. Has that affected your business? What's that been like?
Yeah, so I definitely had a big shift. I obviously had a lot of fun Fashion Week and Black Fashion Week, and actually like a collection launch planned for this spring. So obviously the entire calendar got cleared, and I kind of took a moment to spiral and panic and what do I do? And then I actually started making masks for donations, and people started asking if they could purchase them from me. And it was kind of a struggle because I didn't want to capitalize on a bad situation, so I kind of struggled with that a little, but then I realized that there is still a need for it. So I tried to remain true to my brand and kind of take a step back and look at, okay, what would my target market, like what would a black male want to wear for a face mask? Because a lot of the ones that were being made were like butterflies and, you know, the old lady quilt fabrics and stuff, which is great, but you know, a lot of my target market was not open to wearing those things. So, so I definitely kind of tried to stay true to my brand while completely changing to a mask making production.
Definitely. One thing I've been thinking a lot about is kind of just brick and mortar versus online. Like, you know, a lot of things we talk about are experience based, and obviously with the pandemic, things have shifted, but where do you see like the future of online shopping going, and is there a way you can offer experience online, or what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's definitely something that I've kind of been working on with having mostly an online presence from the beginning, but now it's even more important when we can't have pop-up shops and in-person experiences. So yeah, it's definitely kind of a whole new challenge of trying to create the whole shopping experience on your website, and just trying to find ways to make it like interactive or conversational, or things pop up, or it's definitely a challenge that I'm definitely still working through.
What advice would you give to maybe like a young designer that, you know, has a dream of building a business, like anything you've learned that you're like, oh, I wish someone would have told me this?
Yeah, I think just being really aware that there are going to be a lot of different challenges that you could have never considered. I'm very strategic and I love a plan before I start, you know, taking action. And there are so many things that I never could have even like imagined that come up. And so just being really willing to just roll with the punches and just go with the flow of whatever comes up and being ready to just like take on new challenges.
Definitely. What would you say that the Minneapolis community needs from like a fashion perspective, or what would you like to see more of?
That's a good question. I think there's so much more room for like collaboration and like joining together with other creatives or like clothing brand to clothing brand. I think there's a lot of value in connecting with other people in the same, like doing the same thing as you. I think sometimes people view that as competition, but it's like as small business owners, like we're only going to help each other reach more people, you know, and build each other up. So I think like that collaboration could be taken to a new level.
Collaboration over competition. I feel like I hear that sometimes.
I like that.
I like that.
So my website is gilded-roots.com, and then my Instagram handle is @gildedroots.
Has anyone else been working on their posture lately from working at home? This is what I do at home. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. It is the giveaway of the Minnesota Red Wing boots. How gorgeous are these? We're gonna do a little Minnesota themed trivia. So be ready and answer all 4 questions below in our comments. Type all 4 answers into the comments. Question 1. How many lakes does Minnesota really have? Question number 2. How many Legos have been lost in the Lego play area at the Mall of America? Question number 3. Which of Minnesota's 67 state parks is the most visited? Question number 4. Hollywood star Ryan Gosling is among the celebrities who have been spotted wearing what brand of Minnesota-made shoes? The answers to the Minnesota-themed trivia and our final giveaway of these beautiful Red Wing boots are: number 1. Famed for 10,000 lakes, the state actually has 15,291. Question number 2. How many Legos are lost at MOA? 170,000 and counting. Number 3. Fort Snelling, over 900,000 annual visitors. And our last answer, what are the boots that all the celebs are wearing? Red Wing, of course. Our team will pick a winner at random from the comments. Good luck. Thank you so much for tuning in to You Betcha Minnesota, the land of resilient retailers, presented by our sponsor, Sezzle. We also want to make sure we thank our additional sponsors, including Rosada Wines, Finca Las Moras, and Prairie Organic Spirits. Thank you so much to all our interviews, including Anna, Spencer, Megan Lee, Ashley, and Michelle. Such great information. I really encourage you all to shop their businesses, support them, follow them on social media. Lastly, if you have any questions about Sezzle and you want to implement them into your online retail store, please email me at sarah@iamsarahetedwards.com and I will introduce you to my friends at Sezzle. And thank you so much for tuning in and have a fabulous night.